Good morning, guys. So this video is specifically recorded for discussing November 2020 RTP DT final paper 7. Now please understand, whoever is writing the examinations in November 2020 or May 21, November 21, I'll be uploading this lecture on my YouTube channel, and it's a request, please go through the entire video. I'll be discussing all the problems, including the MCQ questions, including the descriptive and practical questions, and the RTP, standard RTP issued by ICAI, and we are expecting the standard to maintain the same in the upcoming November 2020 or May 21 or November 21 examination. So please ensure that you go through the entire video properly. Number 2, before watching the video, you should have gone through the entire DT syllabus once, then only watch the video. If you are right now only studying the DT paper, do not go through this video right now. Once you complete the entire syllabus once, then it will be advisable for you to go through the video. Number 3, before watching the video, please take a printout of the November 2020 RTP DT final. Whether it's new syllabus or old syllabus does not matter. I guess I have not checked it, but I guess that RTP remains the same for both new syllabus and old syllabus. That does not make any difference. So we will be covering November 2020 RTP for DT final paper number 7, whether old syllabus or new syllabus. It is around 52 pages RTP. First point, it is around 52 pages RTP. And what I have observed is, I have not checked all the questions, few questions what I have observed is, majority questions is taken from amendments. I have already uploaded 22 lectures, 22 videos on amendments, for which a separate playlist you will find in my YouTube channel. You can watch all the amendments applicable to November 2020 in Finance Act 2019 and watch it continuously for your knowledge, for updation of your knowledge. So remember, majority questions are taken from amendments only. It's a 52 pages RTP, and the first let me check, and the first 27 pages 1 to 27 is statutory updates. बोलते statutory updates बोले तो latest notifications and circulars. For this, a separate lecture has already been uploaded in my YouTube channel, so I will not be discussing that once again. For the statutory updates, a separate video was recorded and you will find in my YouTube channel, so you can go through that particular lecture on the statutory updates, same what is covered in RTP November 2020. So first 1 to 27 covers the statutory updates, that is already covered. So we will directly start from page number 28, and this is your RTP. This is your RTP. So we are starting on page number 28. This is page 28 of your RTP, which speaks about section B, question and answers, that is objective type questions. 3 case studies are given, and that is what we will expect in the upcoming examinations also. Out of MCQ of 30 marks, I guess 15 marks will be MCQ based case studies, wherein each case study will be asked for 5 marks, 5 MCQs for 1 mark is, so 15 marks on MCQ and 15 marks other MCQs of various topics, independent MCQs. Now let us please start discussing the RTP properly. From the following options A, B, C, D given each question, choose the appropriate options. The following are the details relating to 4 residents: A, B and Co, LM and Co, PQ and Co, X, Y and Co for financial year 1920 is given. This question number 1 is related to presumptive taxation. So to do this topic, you should have knowledge of what is 44 AD, what is 44 ADA, and what is 44 AE. 44 AD speaks about presumptive taxation of business, ADA for professions, AE for transport business. You should not own more than 10 vehicles. Here the turnover should not be more than 2 crores. Here grocery should not be more than 50 lakhs. All that we have already discussed in the PGP sessions. So based on that, MCQ case study is being given in November 2020 RTP. Now listen, AB and Co. It's a partnership firm. It's into retail trade. It's into retail trade. LM and Co. business of plying and high-end goods and carriage. Both of for retail trade 44 AD. It's a partnership firm. Okay. PQ and Co. LLP wholesale trading. XY and Co. partnership firm interior decoration. Okay. System of accounting mercantile cash. Whether you follow cash basis or mercantile does not matter. You can avail presumptive taxation subject to the conditions described in that section. Retail trading turnover should not be more than 200 crores. It's 200 crores. You can avail 44 AD. Number of vehicles should not be more than 10. That we'll discuss, not given somewhere. Turnover should not be more than 2 crores. It's less than 2 crores. And grocery should not exceed 50 lakhs. It's 50 lakhs. So point understand first. Please understand this first. Please understand this first. Everyone on the screen. AB and Co. It's a partnership firm. Okay. LM and Co. This is also a partnership firm. PQ and Co. It's an LLP. XY and Co. It's a firm, partnership firm. We are into trading, transport business, again wholesale trading, interior decoration. Okay. Nature of business. Which presumptive section will apply? You are not into profession, you are not into transport of business or transport of goods business. So 44 AD will apply. 44 AD will apply because your turnover is not exceeding 2 crores. Turnover is exactly 2 crores, 200 lakhs. So it's up to 2 crores. You can avail the section. Next, transport business, provided my number of vehicles are less than 10 or equal to 10, I can avail this section. If you come now, just to understand, this question will cover properly, don't worry. Now if you see here, number of vehicles owned 10, number of vehicles owned 10. Also if you own up to 10 vehicles, you can avail this section. Yes, I can avail 44 AE. Trading business, again 44 AD, turnover should not exceed 2 crores. Turnover is only 100 lakhs. But the point is 44 AD will apply only for individual HUF and firm. 44 AD will not apply if you are an LLP. So you cannot avail presumptive taxation for PQ and Co. And if you are interior decoration, it's a profession. 44 ADA will apply. So out of 4 SSCs, 3 SSCs can avail presumptive taxation. AB and Co, LM and Co, and PQ and Co. AB and Co, LM Co, and XY and Co. PQ and Co cannot avail because it's an LLP. 44 AD is not available to LLP. It's available to an individual HUF and firm. Yahan tak story clear. Next, we will calculate income of each one. Now be careful. Listen now. Turnover 200 lakhs. Okay. Amount received through RTGS NFT 150. A. Amount received by cash in financial including 3 above 30. Okay. Amount received by way of RTGS between 14 to 39 20. Okay. Now listen. Under 44 AD we have two. Presumptive taxation is income is equals to 8% of turnover. However, if the amount is received by other than cash, it is 6% of turnover. If the amount is received up to the due date of filing return of income, that rate will be 6%. So turnover is 200 lakhs, out of which 150 and 20, 170 lakhs is received in other than cash. So it is 6% of the turnover will take, and on the 30 lakhs will take 8% of the turnover, and on 30 lakhs will take 8% of the turnover. So what will be the income now? Income of AB and Co will be 6% of 170 lakhs. 170 कैसा आया? 150 plus 20 plus 8% of 30 lakhs. कितना रहा चेक करो. 170 lakhs into 6%, 30 lakhs into 8%, 170 lakhs into 6%, 30 lakhs into 8%, 12 lakh 60,000 is the income. 12 lakh 60,000 is the income. Now listen. If you, this is income, working partner, interest on capital, this is 40B, not allowed. Any expenses, if you are availing presumptive taxation under 44AD, 40B provisions are not allowed. 30 to 38 expenses will not be allowed. 40B expenses also will not be allowed. So income is 12 lakh 60,000. This 6 lakhs will not be allowed. This is income. Which income? Presumptive income. And the next page में you will find profit as per books of accounts maintained 5.6 lakhs. That is profit as per books of accounts 5 lakh 60,000. Listen, my presumptive income is coming to 12 lakh 60,000. Can I declare income higher than this? Yes. Can I declare low this income? Yes, but you have to maintain books of accounts and audit books of accounts. If you want to declare this income, you have to maintain books of accounts under 44AA and audit books of accounts under 44AB. Then you can file the return with 5.6 lakhs. If you are not maintaining books of accounts, not auditing books of accounts, you have to declare income of 12 lakh 60,000. I am not covering the MCQs right now. I am first discussing how to calculate income for each one. Then we'll read the MCQs. Then everything becomes easy for you. यहाँ तक clear? ठीक है. Next. LM and Co. It's in the business of plying hiring. Turnover does not matter. It depends on number of vehicles, because if the gross weight is up to 12,000, 7,000 per month per vehicle, it's more than 12,000 kgs. It is 1,000 per ton per month per vehicle. That's a new amendment. If it's a heavy good vehicle, other than heavy good vehicle, please go through 44A properly before going all these MCQs. Okay, this amount received here, turnover does not matter, amount received does not matter, amount received does not matter. Here, if you are availing 44AE, 40B deduction is available. If you are availing 44AD or ADA, deduction of 40B will not be allowed. However, if you are availing 44AE section, deduction of 40B is allowed. If you have gone through my PGP classes, you can check your notes. You will find everything properly given. Okay, now listen. Now, directly come to here. This is the details given for particular SSC. Listen now, please. We have to calculate the income. Listen now, please. Number of vehicles 3. Gross weight is 8,000. It is not heavy good vehicle, so income will be 7,500 per month per vehicle. 7,500 per month per vehicle. And we will always consider date of purchase. We will not consider date of put to use, and per month or part of the month. So if I purchased in May, we have to calculate number of months from May to March. How many months will be May to March? 11 months. July to March, how many months? 9 months. First calculate number of months, sir, for each vehicle. August to March, 8 months. September to March, 7 months. November to March, 5 months. And December to March, 4 months. Even one day will take part of the day, part of the month also. Now listen, you have 6 different types of weight of vehicles. Up to here it is 7,500 per month per vehicle, because the weight is up to 12,000. Here for this one we will take 1,000 per ton per month per vehicle. 1,000 per ton per month per vehicle, and for all these 4 or 1 2 3 4 5 we will take 7,500 per month per vehicle. 7,500 per month per vehicle. Now please listen how to calculate the income. I'll tell you. Please be careful now. Okay. ठीक है, अब देखो, प्लीज देखो इनकम कैसे कैलकुलेट करते. फर्स्ट व्हीकल, देयर आर थ्री. फर्स्ट इज 7,500 per month into 11 months into 3 vehicles. 7,500 per month into 11 months into 3 vehicles. Next, again 7,500 per month into 9 months into 2 vehicles. Again 7,500 per month into 8 months into 1 vehicle. Again 7,500 per month into 7 months into 1 vehicle. Again 7,500 per month into 5 months into 1 vehicle. Now we will take 1,000 per ton per week per ton. 13,000 kgs will be 13 tons into 13. This is 13,000 per month per vehicle. Per month बोलते how many months? 4 months. Per vehicle 2 vehicles. Total gives you 6,36,500. Total will give you 6,36,500 minus, you will get deduction of these two also. 1.5 lakhs plus 50,000 gives you 2 lakhs. Gives you 4,36,500. And the profit as per books of accounts given is 4,10,000. This is given, nothing we are doing, sir. This profit as per books of accounts is given. This is given in the question itself, 4,10,000. यहाँ तक clear? यहाँ तक clear? So once again I repeat, 7,500 for the first 5 into 11 months into 3 into 9 months into 2 into 8 months into 1, 7 months into 1, 5 months into 1. Here 1,000 per ton, 13,000 kgs will be 13 tons. So 1,000 per ton into 13 tons gives you 13,000 per month into 4 months per vehicle into 4 vehicles. You do the summation of all this, you will get 6,36,500 minus 2 lakhs, that is 1.5 lakhs plus 50,000, 2 lakhs. Then PQ and Co, you cannot avail presumptive taxation because he is an LLP, but profit given in the question for him is 4,50,000. Next, interior decoration, presumptive income will be 50% of the turnover. Turnover is 50 lakhs. That if you receive in cash 6%, otherwise 8%, that is only for 44 AD. 44 ADA, we don't have any logic about the cash receipts. Directly 50% of the turnover. That is 50% of 50 lakhs, which is equals to 25 lakhs. And the profit as per books of accounts is 20 lakhs. Clear? This cash receipt is important only for 44 AD case, because if it is received other than cash, we take 6% of turnover. If it is received in cash, we take 8% of the turnover. This is in order to encourage digital receipts or digital transactions. यहाँ तक clear? So if you avail this 3 lakhs, 40B will not be allowed. Remember, interest on capital and salary or remuneration paid to partners, if you are availing 44 AD presumptive taxation or 44 ADA presumptive taxation, you will not get the benefit. However, if you are availing 44 AD presumptive taxation, 40B will be allowed. You can check our notes if you have attended my sessions, or you can check your notes if you are attending any other faculties classes. Okay, there are two notes. Note 1, it may be assumed that partner salary and interest are authorized by partnership. That is one of the conditions. 40b, that the payment should be authorized and should be within the limits of 40 subsection b. That is what is given. This is just an information. So whatever he gave, we did some nonsense. We calculated the income under each SSC if they avail presumptive income, and profit what already is given. Now let us read the MCQs. First MCQ. Sure. First MCQ. From the details given above, choose the most appropriate option to the following given. Which of the four entities are eligible to declare income on presumptive based on the Income Tax Act for assessment year 2021? Who can avail presumptive taxation and out of these four? AB and Co can avail, LM Co can avail, XY and Co can avail, but P and Co cannot avail. But who can avail? AB, LM and XY. AB, LM and XY. AB, LM and XY. Answer is D. Next. What is the business income of AB and Co and PQ and Co, assuming the entities wish to avail the maximum tax benefit without getting the books of accounts audited, also under presumptive basis? He is asking what is the income of that under presumptive basis or whatever it is. AB and Co, what is the presumptive income we got? AB and Co, we got 12,60,000. And he's asking income of AB and Co and PQ and Co. PQ and Co, there is no presumptive. Profit is 4,50,000. So answer is 12.6 and 4.5. Answer is 12.6 and 4.5. That is option A. 12.6 and 4.5 is already given. 12.6 we calculate 8% on cash receipts, 6% on other than cash receipts. Next. Next. What is the business income to be declared by LM and Co, assuming the firm wishes to make maximum tax without getting the books accounted? Also again he wants presumptive income of LM and Co. LM and Co ka presumptive income, let us check what we got. LM and Co is this one. Uska presumptive income we got 4,36,500. 6,36,500 minus 2 lakhs on interest on capital and partnership remuneration. 436,500 we got. Let us see, do we have the option? Yes, we have option. 436,500. Option C. Next. What is the income to be declared by XY and Co under PGBP, assuming that firm wishes to make maximum tax savings without getting, again he wants presumptive income of XY and Co now. XY and Co both the last tree. XY and Co, presumptive income is 25 lakhs. So answer is option C. Now, would your answer to subparts 3 and 4, subpart 3 and 4 बोलते LM and Co का पूछ रहा and XY and Co का पूछ रहा, would change if the firm decides to get the books of accounts audited? LM and Co, XY and Co. Listen now. LM and Co, if we show on the presumptive basis 4,36,500, if you show as per books of accounts 4,10,000, yes, your answer will change, but you can decrease your income only if you maintain books of accounts and audit. So yes, LM and Co, you can declare 4,10,000 provided you maintain an audit. XY and Co, your income is 25 lakhs, but as per books of accounts is 20. Yes, you can decrease your income below the presumptive income provided you maintain books of accounts and audit. So answer is yes, LM and Co profit will change if audit is done. X, Y and co, your income will change if audit is done. So answer is yes, there would be change in answer to both subparts 3 and 4. Because as per presumptive taxation, I can declare higher income, yes, can declare lower income, yes, but maintain books of accounts and audit books of accounts. This was the first bit, first MCQ case study based on presumptive taxation. Based on presumptive taxation. I'll give you exactly 2 minutes. If you want to copy something in your RTP, you can copy. This is first case study based MCQ on presumptive taxation. And one more point you should remember, 40B deduction you will not get if you avail under 44 AD. Under 44 AD also you will not get 40B, but if you are availing 44E presumptive taxation, 40B deduction is allowed. Remember that. चल fine. So this was your first case study based MCQ in November 2020 RTP. If you are thorough with 44 AD, ADAE, then only you can do this kind of MCQs in the exam as well. Okay, and this is important. If the weight is up to 12,000, we'll take 7,500 per month per vehicle. If it's more than 12,000, we'll take 1,000 per ton per month per vehicle into number of tons, into number of months, into number of vehicles. And we'll take date of purchase as a consideration, not date of put to use, and part of the month will be considered. Well, 28 May we start, so we count as May also as 1 month. For May to March will be 11 months. Like this we have to do. Then you will get 6,36,500. Then you deduct the 40B deduction of 2 lakhs. You get 4,36,500. This is your first case study based MCQ. Okay, now listen. Next one is number 2. Okay, listen, let me cover this properly, then it's this is on capital gains plus other sources, read with 50C, read with 56 subsection 2 clause 10. If you have attended my sessions in depth, if it was covered under 50C, gift section, stamp valuation, 43CA, everything was covered properly. Based on this, a case study is given. Let me read it. I'll prepare a diagram and also and give you, and then we can continue. Mr. Hari, a property dealer, sold a building in the course of his business to his friend Mr. Rajesh, who is a dealer in automobile spare parts, for 100 lakhs on 1/1/2020, when the stamp valuation was 120 lakhs. The agreement was, however, entered on 1/9/2019, when the stamp duty value was 105 lakhs. Mr. Hari received a down payment of 15 lakhs by an EFT from Rajesh as on date of agreement. Hari purchased the building for 50 lakhs on 12/7/2018. Please, sir, let me draw one diagram and explain you. Please, everyone, be careful with that particular item. Hari, he is a property dealer. ठीक है, he is a seller. He sold building to a person called Rajesh, who is the buyer. ठीक है, ठीक है, he sold to Rajesh, who is the buyer. ठीक है, date of agreement is 1/9/2019. Agreement was entered. Actual sale consideration is 100 lakhs. Stamp duty value as on date of agreement is 105 lakhs. And stamp duty value as on date of registration sold on 1/1/20, that is 1/1/20. This is stamp duty value on 1/1/20 is 120 lakhs. Now the point is, out of these two, which stamp duty value we should take, date of agreement or date of registration? We covered in capital gains. We will take date of agreement if we receive advance on or before date of agreement in other than cash, bearer check or cross check. We receive advance. Question clearly says an advance was given. Down payment is advance of 15 lakhs. Amount can be anything. On the date of agreement, that too by an EFT. So all the conditions are satisfied. Yes, he received advance of 15 lakhs on the agreement date, other than cash, bearer check and cross check. So point is, we will not consider the stamp duty value as on date of registration. We will consider stamp duty value as on date of agreement only. ठीक है, now listen. In the hands of Hari, he is a property dealer. He sold his building. बोल तो for Hari it is stock in trade. PGBP will apply. It's a PGBP income because for him it's a property dealer. For him it's a stock in trade. Sale value. Now the question is, should we take 100 lakhs actual sale consideration or stamp duty value of 105 lakhs? We covered, we will take the percentage of difference. If it is up to 5%, we will take actual sale consideration. If it is more than 5%, we will take stamp duty value. Here the difference is 5%. 105 minus 100, 5 lakhs by 100. It is exactly 5%, and the difference is up to 5%. We will take actual sale consideration only, that is 100 lakhs. And the cost of buying the property is 50 lakhs. Less cost 50 lakhs, and the income is 50 lakhs, and it is not capital gains, it is PGBP income. It is PGBP income because for him it is a stock in trade. Number 2, for Rajesh, Rajesh is receiving a building whose value is 105 lakhs for rupees 100 lakhs. It is gift. It is in kind. It is immole property. It is inadequate consideration. The difference is exceeding 50,000 and the difference should also exceed 5%. Yes, understand the logic. Rajesh is receiving a building of whose value is 105 for only 100. He's got a benefit. Yes, it's a gift. It's a building. Inadequate consideration, that is 105 minus 100, 5 lakhs. The difference should exceed 50,000. It's exceeding 50,000, but the difference is not exceeding 5%. So no gift section for Rajesh because the difference is not exceeding 5%. But one more point. When Rajesh makes the payment to Hari, TDS under 194IA will apply. When Rajesh is making the payment to Hari of 100 lakhs, it is more than or equal to 50 lakhs, he will deduct TDS at the rate of 1%. This also you should know. TDS concept. He will deduct TDS at the rate of 1%. So with that particular point, this many concepts I can cover. The case study is two paragraphs, two different cases. This is the first case. Okay. Now please read this once again. Hari, a property dealer, Hari, a property dealer, sold a building in the course of his business. Sold in the course of his business, both for him it's a stock in trade. To his friend Rajesh, who is dinner for 100 lakh. This is actual sale consideration on 1/1/2020. When the stamp duty value is 120, that is stamp duty value as on date of registration. Agreement was entered on 1/1/2009. Stamp duty was 105. Whenever you have two stamp duty, date of agreement, date of registration, we will take date of agreement provided you receive advance on or before the date of agreement in any mode other than cash, bearer check or cross check. That condition is satisfied here, so we'll take stamp duty value as on date of agreement, that is 105 lakhs. Hari purchased the building for 50 lakhs on 12/7/2018. Am I clear? This is sale value as per 43C A section. If it is capital asset 50C and stock in trade 43C. You can check our notes if you have in my class. Stamp valuation we divide into two trades, 50C ones and 43CA ones. Okay. Okay. Now, so what is income of Hari? Income of Hari is 50 lakhs under PGBP. Rajesh ke liye gift section does not apply because the difference is exceeding 50,000 agreed but not exceeding 5%. And Rajesh also is required to deduct TDS under 194IA because the consideration is more than or equal to 50 lakhs at the rate of 1%. Let us read the first two bits. Sure. What is the amount of income chargeable to tax in the hands of Hari in respect of above transaction under which head? Which head is PGBP and the amount is 50 lakhs. So 50 lakhs under business income. Answer is option C. Is any amount taxable in the hands of Mr. Rajesh? Rajesh ke liye gift section will not apply. No amount is taxable in the hands of Rajesh. Am I clear till here? The next two bits is related to other paragraph that we will cover. But to do these two bits in the story, you have to do in the working notes, whatever working notes you do or and all that nonsense. Two minutes I'm giving you. If you want to copy, I'll wait. If you don't want to copy, please forward the video by 2 minutes. If you are copying, I'm waiting. Jaldi karo. Similarly, we have one more case under this case only, that also will cover. Here the difference is not exceeding 5%, sir. Difference कैसा निकालते हैं? Difference is 105 lakhs minus 100 by 100 into 100. It is exactly 5%. It is difference up to 5%, no problem. More than 5% will take stamp duty value. ठीक है, ठीक है, नहीं हुआ तो प्लीज पॉज करके कॉपी कर लेना. नथिंग ग्रेट. नाउ लेट्स कंटिन्यू. Sure. We have one more paragraph in the same case study. Now listen. I am reading the second one. Mr. Ravi, a retail trader, sold a residential house to Mr. Valish, wholesale trader, for 50 lakhs on 1/1/2020 when the stamp duty value was 70 lakhs. Agreement was entered on 1/8/2019 when the stamp duty was 55 lakhs. Ravi received a down payment of 5 lakhs by cross check, but he should not receive in cash bearer check cross check you received on the date of agreement. Ravi purchased the building for 32 lakhs on 17/8/2018. Let us draw the one more diagram for the second case. Ravi is a seller. He sold to Valish. Sure. He sold to Valish, who is the buyer. ठीक है. Sold what? Sold the house. Okay. On 1/2/2020. Okay. Actual sale consideration is 50 lakhs. Stamp duty value as on date of registration, that is as on 1/2/2020, you take, is given as 70 lakhs. Stamp duty value as on date of agreement is also given. Agreement date is 1/8/2019, is 55 lakhs. Okay. Now we will take the stamp duty values and date of agreement, provided Valish gives an advance payment to Ravi on or before date of agreement, but other than cash, bearer check, cross check. But in the problem he gave the advance in cross check, so we will not consider date of agreement. These two only will take. Okay. And he sold building. He is a trader, retail trader. So for he sold house, for him it's a capital asset. For him it's a capital asset. Now listen, what is percentage of difference here now? Percent of difference here will be 70 lakhs minus 50 by 50 into 100 is equals to 40%. It is more than 5%. Now listen, we'll take from both the parties point of view now. Listen, in the hands of Ravi, it is a capital gain now, because for him it's a capital asset. Sale value as per 50C, as the difference exceeding 5%, will take stamp duty value, that is 70 lakhs. When did Ravi buy the property? Ravi bought the property on 17/8/2018. When did the agreement took place? Agreement took place on 1/8/2019. We'll take 1 day minus 31st July 19. Sorry. When it was sold? It was sold on 1st February 2020. What will take 1 day minus? That is 31st January 2020. It is less than or equal to 24 months. Both it is a short-term capital asset. Cost is directly given. Cost of acquisition is 32 lakhs. So 38 lakhs is capital gain, but short term or long term, it is short term capital gain. Valish He is receiving a property whose value is 70 lakhs for only 50 lakhs. Did he get a benefit? Yes. It is gift. It is under kind. It is immovable property. It is inadequate consideration. The difference exceeds 50,000. Yes. The difference also exceeds 5%. Yes. So the difference amount of 20 lakhs will be taxable to Valish under gift section. That is 70 lakhs minus 50 lakhs. 70 lakhs minus 50 lakhs. How much Valish will make the payment to Ravi? 50 lakhs or 70? He will make 50 lakhs only. Even the stamp duty is 70, he will make, the agreement is 50. Valish has also deduct TDS under 194 IA at the rate of 1%. Buyer will deduct TDS because 194 IA says buyer will deduct TDS if the consideration, we will not take stamp duty value, it is 1% on 50 lakhs. It will be always on actual sale consideration if the consideration is more than or equal to 50 lakhs. You can check our TDS summary chart. You will find more than or equal to 50 lakhs in the limit amount. So in that first category also he should deduct TDS, here also he should deduct TDS. So what is the income of Ravi? 38 lakhs and a short term capital gain. What is income of Valish? Under income from other sources, gift section 56 subsection to clause 10, 20 lakhs. And both the parties, that is in the first case who was the buyer, I guess Rajesh was the buyer, second case Valish was the buyer, both has to deduct TDS under 194 IA at the rate of 1% because actual sale consideration there was 100 lakhs more than or equal 50 lakhs, here also 50 lakhs more than or equal 50 lakhs, both the case TDS also will apply. Okay, let's continue the discussion. Chalo, listen. Listen. Third MCQ. What is the amount of income chargeable to tax in the hands of Rabi in respect of our transaction of which head? Which head is capital gain, and we got I guess 38 lakhs and a short term capital gain. So answer is option C. Is any amount taxable in the hands of Valish in respect of our transaction? If so, what is the amount under which head? Which head is come from other sources and the amount is 20 lakhs. Option B. Is tax deductible by Rajesh and Valish on making the payments to seller? Yes. Rajesh also deduct TDS, Valish also deduct TDS. Yes, tax deductible at source by both Rajesh and Valish. Answer is option A. मैं वापिस बोल रहा हूँ, I am very clear with whatever I am covering. इतना in-depth knowledge कावाली चाहिए होना required to do all these MCQ based case studies or case study based MCQs. This case study MCQs is based on 50C, 43CA and 56 subsection clause 10. That is always, I always told you in my classes also, capital gains and others are brothers and sisters. They always go hand in hand. So this completes a second case study based MCQ. Yeah, so let's continue our third case study based MCQ for November 2020 RTP. Number 3. ये important mark करो because this is on amendment. This MCQ is on, that is, this is based on tax rates for companies. The following are the particulars relating to 4 Indian companies, namely A Limited, B Limited, C Limited and D Limited. So please be careful. We will first talk about A Limited and B Limited, then we'll go to C Limited and D Limited. Okay, now listen please. Please listen. A Limited. Date of setting up of the company 1/9/2019, 1/11/2019. First point, please understand, remember this. There is a section which was introduced called 1115 BAB, new section which was introduced, which says if you incorporate a company on or after 1/10/2019 and that too it should be into manufacturing, then this section will apply. If you are into manufacturing and incorporated on or after 1/10/2019, this is not incorporated on or after 1/10/2019, so I can confirm for A Limited 115 BAB will not apply. This is incorporated on or after 1/10/2019, and that too it's into manufacturing of apparel. I can confirm 115 BAB applies, provided you, that's an optional section, you want to avail, you can avail, but this section does not apply. This section is possible here because incorporated before, incorporated after 1/10/2019 is the first point. Clear? If you now listen, one more point. So you are into we'll start with B Limited first. We'll dig into B Limited properly. Manufacturing of apparel. Okay, Warangal in Telangana, my factory. My value of plant and machinery is 4 crores. My gross total income is 2.8 crores. 2.8 crores. Okay. Remember, if you avail 115 AAB, certain deductions under 32, additional depreciation, investment allowance, 35 subsection 1 clause 2, clause 2A, clause 3, 35 2 AA 2AB, 35 4, all 35 32 2, nothing will be allowed. Straight away, if you we are telling lower tax, will take few benefits. If you avail 115 BAB, I have uploaded a separate videos on tax rates for companies in my YouTube channel. Please go through that if you have not gone through it. The tax rate on a 115 BAB is an effective rate of 17.16. But certain benefit deductions will not be allowed. Straight away on your income will calculate 17.16. So GTI is 2.8 crores, but deduction of chapter 6A will be allowed. Deduction on 32, 38 you will not get, but deduction in chapter 6A will be allowed. I have 1000 employees in my factory. 1000 employees in my factory. Again I repeat, I am doing first for B Limited. 1000 employees. 500 employees have a salary of 24,000 per employee. 500 employees have a salary of 26,000 per employee. That is per month. Given here, monthly. And it is paid by account paycheck, but it is other than cash. This is given for 80JJAA benefit. 80JJAA benefit. Okay. And the rule is your salary should be less than or equal to 25,000. Here it is more than 25,000. For this, deduction will not be allowed. Clear? Here it's less than 25,000, but you should minimum work for 240 days. And I started my organization in 1/11/2019. So we'll calculate number of days from November to March. November 30. December 31, January 31, February 28, and March 31, 151 days. But the condition is minimum work for 240 days, but we are working only 151 days. Work for 151 days. Still you will get the deduction because you are into apparel business. Apparel business ke liye it's not 240 days, it is only 150 days if I remember. If I remember, apparel ke liye the number of days the worker should work is only 150 days. You can check our notes. It's a 151 days. So for this you will get the benefit. You will get the benefit. Now how much benefit you will get? What is your salary? 24,000 per month. Per month. We'll calculate number of months from November to March, 5 months. This is 1,20,000 salary per employee. How many employees? 500 employees. Here 500 employees into 500. But uska you will get only 30%. 1.8 crores is deduction you will get under 80JJAA. How did I get 1.8 crores? 24,000 per employee into 500 employees into 5 months into 30%. Clear? Clear till here? I hope I am very clear till here. So 115 BAB is applicable if it's a manufacturing incorporate on or after 1/10/2019. Okay? Now let's do B Limited ka computation. Everyone on the screen. So what is GTI of B Limited? We are B Limited, please. GTA of B Limited 2.8 crores, less deduction under 80JJAA, just now we calculated. कैसा आया वो? That is 24,000 per month per employee into 5 months, that is from November to March, into 500 employees into 30%, gives you 1.8 crores. 1 crore is your taxable income, and the tax rate is effective rate. If you are availing, I am assuming that you avail the section of 115 BAB, tax rate at the rate of 17.16% on 1 crore, 17,16,000. 17,60,000. Why is value of plant and machinery is given, that I will tell you later on. Okay, now let us do the first bit. What would be the tax liability if we did B Limited only? If it avails the beneficial tax rates under special provisions inserted by taxation rules, that is 115 BAB. How much tax liability we got? 17,16,000. Do we have the option in that? Yes, we have, sir. Option D is the answer. Option D, D for Delhi, is the answer. ठीक है यहाँ तक? Once again, let me repeat. 115 BAB will apply because incorporated on after 110/2019. That too into manufacturing. Effective tax rate will be 17.16. A deduction under Chapter 6A will be allowed, but on this fine it will not be allowed because more than 25,000. On this it will be allowed, even though it's working for 151 days, because for apparel business it's only 150 days allowed. So deduction is 30% of the salary you deduct, and on the net income you calculate 17.16%. यहाँ तक clear? Sure. You wanna note down this somewhere in your RTP? Please check. 15 seconds. So if you have forgotten this, you can watch my YouTube channel में under amendments you will have tax rates for companies lecture, 2 hours lecture. There I have explained in detail each section properly with provisions. ठीक है? Now we are doing for A Limited, please. Now we are doing for A Limited. Be careful. So 115 BAB will not apply. So we have another section called 115 BAA that will apply. That is for existing companies also. And there the effective tax rate is 25.168% if I remember. What is GTI? 4.9 crores. Okay. On this 25,100 employees, 80JJAA will not be available. On this 24,000 per month per employee, number of days is 151 days again. Sorry, 151 days nahi. We calculate now from September. Let us start number of days from September. September 30. September से start करो. September 30, October 31. 161 plus 151. 212 days. But the condition is 240 days. If you are into apparel business, it is 150 days under 80JJAA. Any other business, you should minimum work for 240 days. But we are getting 212 days only. So on this also deduction under 80JJAA will not be available, even though salary is less than 25,000. But you are not working for more than 240 days. So for on both the points, 80JJAA will not apply. 80JJAA will not apply. So 115 BAB as it is does not apply. BAA will apply. So directly on GTI will calculate the tax rate, because deduction under 80JJAA for this is not applicable because less than 240 days. This is not applicable because more than 25,000. So directly on 4.9 crores. 4,90,000. 4 crore 90 lakhs. Pay directly. If you do 25.168%, you will get 1 crore 23 lakhs 32,320. Let us see what is the second bit is asking. What would be the tax liability of A Limited if it avails the rate specified under the provisions? For this, 115 BAA will apply. And the answer we got is 1 crore 23 lakhs 32,320. That is option A. कैसा आया वो? Directly 4.9 crores into directly effective rate of 25.168%. 80JJAA benefit deduction you will not get in this because it's less than 240 days worked by the workman. So directly on GTI you will calculate this. Clear? Clear? Chalo, next. Third bit. What would be the tax liability of A Limited, B Limited if they do not opt for special provision inserted by taxation rules? Assume that gross income reflects competition as special provision. Ignore MAT. Also, what option? First bit says if they opt for 115 BAB, what is tax? Second bit, they opt for 115 BA, what is tax? They don't opt for this section, then what is not? Assuming they don't opt because it's an optional section, then what is the tax? Now be careful. Let us start with B Limited first. What is your GTI? GTI of B Limited is given as 2.8 crore. चुपचाप सुनते जाओ. They are into manufacturing. That too in Telangana. Okay. This gross total income does not include additional depreciation under 32(1) clause 2A and 32 AD investment allowance deduction also, because when you calculated GTI under the new tax rates, these two benefits will not be given because you opted for this section. Now the question says you are not opting for this section, so I can claim these two benefits, additional depreciation and 32 AD, because 32 AD it is set up in factory in Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, Bihar, West Bengal. It is Telangana. He is not a fool to give the state. So from this first I will deduct additional depreciation under section 32 subsection 1 clause 2A. Value of the plant and machinery is given as 4 crores. 4 crores. Technically the additional rate depreciation is 20% and half rate is 10%. As you have incorporated on 1/1/2019, it means asset is put to use for less than 180 days will take half rate, that is 10%. But no, if you are availing 32 AD, the additional depreciation rates are 35% and 17.5. I will take 17.5%. Then I will deduct 32 AD, that is 4 crores into directly 15%. Then I will get net GTI. Then I will deduct 80JJAA, that we already calculated. 80JJAA is 1 crore. This 2.8 crore does not include this because we have opted for 115 BAB. You will not get this. Now if you don't opt, we can claim this. So what is 4 crore ka 15%? 0.6 crores. And 4 crores का 17.5% कितना होता? 0.7 crores. So 2.8 minus 1.3 gives you 1.5. One second. 80JJAA कितना आया रे? 80JJAA is 1.8 crores. 1.3, 1.5. Double J, so it's a loss of 30 lakhs. If it's a loss of 30 lakhs, what will be the tax? Tax will be 0. Now please understand this. Please understand this. You're a tax consultant of B Limited. B Limited has two options. Avail 115 BAB and pay tax on of 17 lakh 16,000, and do not avail that section. But here I am not availing 115 BAB. I will, my normal provisions of income tax will apply. It's a loss of 30 lakhs and I need not pay the tax. So as a consultant, you should advise do not avail 115 AB and avail the normal provisions, and your tax liability will be 0. If you see the options now, under the third bit, only the last option has answer nil. So this is the answer, nil. This 96, 81, 360, I am getting a difference of 300 rupees, sir. So I'll just write a mail to ICI today. If I get a revert back, I'll update you by next week, because I am getting an answer as 96 lakhs 81,000 around 100. That's the reason I'll not do for A Limited here. If I get a reply, and I'll ask him how they calculated, because I'm getting difference of 200 rupees. But B Limited is definitely nil. That is what we got. So that is the point. So please copy this. This is for third bit. That is the reason value of plant and machine is given, because you can claim additional depreciation. And so why are you not claiming normal depreciation? Because under GTI we are assuming after claiming normal only GTI is calculated. That is the assumption, because under if you avail the new sections also, normal depreciation is allowed. Additional depreciation, additional investment allowance, all that sections are not allowed, but normal depreciation is allowed. That's the reason we are not deducting, because it's already deducted and he gave 2.8 as a net amount. सर मैं वापिस बोल रहा हूँ, डेप्थ नॉलेज होना. आई एम वेरी हैप्पी विद द स्टैंडर्ड विच इज मेंटेन्ड बाय ICI, because that is the standard we expect a CA final student to know, because that will help him once he passes the exam, for your practice, for your job, for your interview also. They are preparing you very well for your future. Please understand that one point properly. For A Limited, you will get additional depreciation, but you will not get 32 AD, because that fellow is in Madhya Pradesh, and 80 JJAA also you will not get. I'll show you for A Limited what should be my answer, sir, because I'm not getting difference. I'm getting some other difference amount. I'll tell you that also. Don't worry. Okay. Now let us do the same thing for A Limited. A Limited, उसका GTI is given 4.9 crores. You will get additional depreciation. Value of the plant is given 10 crores, and we started on 1/9/2019. It is definitely more than 180 days, so you will get full rate, that is 20%. You will get additional depreciation 20%, that is 2 crores. You deduct, you get 2.9 crores less 80 JJAA. You will not get 2.9 crores is your taxable income. 2.9 crores is your taxable income. 1 second. and the tax is a question mark. Reason is, if I assume 115 BAB is not availed, then I will either get then we will check the turnover of financial year 17-18. If it is less than 400 crores, it is 25%. Any other case, 30%. As it is a new company, the turnover will not be given, so we'll assume the tax rate is 25% only. Then 25% of 2.9 crores. Kitara 25%, 2.9 into 25%, 72,50,000. As the income is more than 1 crore and up to 10 crores, you will also get surcharge. Surcharge will be 7%. $72,50,000 into 7%. 5,07,500. Add 77,57,500. To that we will add cess at 4%. 3,10,300. To that we take the total. 800, 7, 6, 80,67,800 we got, but that's not the answer which is matching with it. I will check. I'll write one mail because I feel this is the correct answer, but I might be wrong also. I am not got that whatever I do is correct only. I'm not telling that. I might be also wrong, but according to me this should be the value. But I'll draft a mail to ICA. Once the moment I get it, I'll upload on my YouTube for this particular one. I have a doubt in this, but B limited I got correct only. A limited there is a doubt. I'll just clarify once, because either they did something nonsense because they did not avail some benefit or whatever it is, or they assume some other tax rates that we have to ask them. So you copy kar lo for your information. ठीक है, check. Fine sir. Again I repeat, answer according to ICA is the fourth one, I guess, that is D, but you have to check that. Next, now listen, let's continue the question. So we have analyzed A limited, B limited. Now we have to analyze C limited and D limited. Listen now. Date of setting up of registration is given. That's okay. Main objective is given. Place Tamil Nadu, Karnataka. Now listen. Turnover of 17-18 is important. This is important because based on this only tax rate will apply. If the turnover is less than 400 crores, the tax rate is 25%. More than 400 crores, tax rate is 30%. Here it is more than 400 crores. So the tax rate for C limited, general tax rate will be 30% because it's more than 400 crores. Here general tax rate will be 25% before cess and surcharge, because less than 400 crores 25%, more than 400 crores any other case 30%. Details of income returned and assessed. This is for penalties he gave. Penalty bolte you should know very well. Under section 270A we have two types of penalty: under reporting and misreporting. If it is under reporting, it is 50% penalty on the tax amount, and misreporting 200% penalty on the tax amount. On the difference we'll take, and the base will be 143(1). if you remember our penalty chapters, so the difference of these two will be considered, the difference of these two will be considered. Return of income will be ignored. We have done lot of problems on this. We have done lot of problems on this. Shall I continue now? Shall I continue now? Now listen. Fourth bit. Be careful. Fourth bit. Listen. What would be the penalty for C Limited under 270A, assuming that the underreporting is not due to misreporting? Bole to it is penalty will be 50% and not 200%, because it is not due to misreporting. Okay, now listen how to do. Penalty is equals to, first, what is the tax rate of C Limited? Tax rate is 30%. Okay, now listen, 30% is the tax rate, yes or no? Okay, and your income is more than 10 crores, so surcharge. So find out the effective tax rate. Effective tax rate will be 30% surcharge, 30% tax rate plus 12% surcharge plus 4% cess, which will be equal to 34.944%. Clear? Because in surcharge of 12% will apply if the income is more than 10 crores. It's more than 10 crores here. इसका effective tax rate कितना आता? 25% plus 12% surcharge plus 4% cess. क्या करो कितना रहा? 25 plus 12% plus 4%, 29.12 is effective tax rate, including surcharge and cess. ठीक है? First find out the normal tax rate, then find out the effective tax rate. 34.944, 29.12, because more than 10 crores, surcharge 12%, and on that cess of 4%. Now listen. Penalty will be equal to, what is the tax rate we got? Tax rate is 34.944%. Correct? On the difference amount. Difference amount क्या है? 20 crores and 16 crores. Difference is 4 crores on 4 crores. This will be the tax amount. ये 20 crores कैसा आया? 4 crores कैसा आया? That is 20 minus 16. This will be the tax amount. On that we will levy a penalty of 50%. On that we will levy a penalty of 50%. Check करो कितना आ रहा? 4 crores into 34.944% into 50%. 69,88,800. 69,88,800, and that is your option B for ball. 69,88,800. ओके, ठीक है. अब यहाँ पे डिफरेंस कितना है? 2 करोड़ से 22 minus 20. ओके, effective rate is 29.12. Let's do the last bit. What would be the quantum of penalty of D Limited, assuming the underreporting is due to misreporting? बोल तो penalty here will be 200% and not 50%. So penalty will be, what is effective rate we got? Effective rate we got as 29 point, कितना आया था रे? 29.12% on the difference. Difference is 2 crores. उसका 200% penalty. 2 crores कैसा आया? 22 minus 20. So निकालो कितना आ रहा? 2 crores into 29.12% into 1 crore 16 lakhs 48,000. That is option A. These are your MCQ based case study in your November 2020, and we'll do the remaining MCQs also now. So please understand, the MCQs are on the recent amendments, and all the questions, around 25% of the questions in RTP are from the recent amendments in Finance Act 2019. So I request you to please watch all the videos of Finance Act 2019 for your revision once. It will help you for your examination. Which will help you for your examination. To do the third case study, you should know the tax rate of companies ka provisions and also penalty and a 270A provision. Brush that properly, then only try to do that case study based MCQ. Okay, sure. So let's continue. The now independent MCQs will start. This is MCQ number 4. A Limited, an Indian company, bought back its listed shares from shareholder, and B Limited, an Indian company, bought back its unlisted shares from a shareholder in the month of March 2020. Listen please. A Limited, it is a listed company. B Limited, unlisted company, and they are going for buyback. Okay. If B Limited unlisted company goes for buyback, company should pay tax under 115 QA, and for shareholder that buyback amount is exempt under 1034A. If a listed company goes for buyback, that too a new amendment has come on or after 5th July 19, and they went for buyback in March 2020, that is on or after 5th July 19. Same logic, company will pay the tax on buyback at the rate of 23.296%, for shareholders is exempt. How did we get 23.296? 20% plus surcharge 12% plus 4% cess, 23.296%. So in both the cases, the company will pay tax, and for the shareholder, that amount received on buyback is exempt. This is an amendment. On amendment, he given an RTP में 1 MCQ. Answer is additional income tax on the receipt is leviable in the hands of A Limited and B Limited. Yes. Income arising shareholder is exempt. Correct. This is only correct. Nothing. I need not refer the other cases also, because I know the first one is only correct. You can check again iska lecture you will have in taxation and buyback of shares in my YouTube channel under amendments lecture. The amendment may, if unlisted company 115 QA will apply, listed company on or after 5th July 2019 also 115 QA will apply. Company will pay the tax on buyback on the difference amount, on the amount paid minus the amount received at the time of issue. On the difference, the tax will be paid by the company. That's the reason for shareholder is exempt 1034 capital A. Okay, sure. Next, 5th one. Mr. Ganesh and Rajesh, resident Indians, age 60 and age 80. Ganesh 60 years, Rajesh age 80 years. Have not furnished return of income, and the total income as in respect of each year under 144, but the budget assessment was 8 lakhs and 5 lakhs. What will be the penalty under 278? This is under reporting of income. 50% penalty will apply on undisclosed income. But for Rajesh, Bhelpur is only 5 lakhs. His income also was 5 lakhs. So there is no undisclosed income and no penalty. No penalty. Because his income was 5 lakhs. His Bhelpur is also 5 lakhs. There is no black money. Ganesh, your Bhelpur is 3 lakhs, but your income was 8 lakhs. You should pay tax on 8 lakhs, and on that you should also pay penalty on 50% of the tax on 8 lakhs. How much tax Ganesh has to pay tax? 8 lakhs minus 5 lakhs into 20% plus 10,000, not 12,500, 10,000, because 3 lakhs to 5 lakhs ka lena, plus 10,000 plus 4% says this much tax Ganesh has to pay. 72,800. But how much penalty he has to pay on that? 50%. 36,400. So answer is D. Penalty of 36,400 in the hands of Ganesh and no penalty in the hands of Rajesh. Why no penalty in the hands of Rajesh? Because his Belpur is 5 lakhs, his income was also 5 lakhs. Why should he pay any tax? Why should he pay any penalty? But Ganesh, his income was 8 lakhs, did not file the return of income. We asked him under bed judgment, order was passed with 8 lakhs. AO will ask him to pay tax on 8 lakhs and also penalty at the rate of 50% on the tax on 8 lakhs. That is 50% is coming to 36,400. पहले tax find out करो on 8 lakhs, whatever tax you get उस पे 50%. But remember Bhelpuri is 3 lakhs for Ganesh, so we will not add 12,500, we will add 10,000. Okay. Check. Next MCQ number 6. X and Co, Y and Co are non-resident firms in receipt of fees for technical services of 20 lakhs each in financial year 1920 from an Indian company A Limited in pursuance on agreement with A Limited approved by central government. X and Co does not have any fixed place of profession in India but no P in India, whereas Y and Co has a fixed place of profession in India. The revenue expense incurred by X and Co to own FTS fees for technical services 2 lakhs. The following are the details pertaining to Y and Co. Revenue expenditure incurred to own FTS 3.5, expenditure wholly and exclusively connected with the place of business out of the amount 3 lakhs, amount paid by fixed place of profession to otherwise towards reimbursement, books of accounts maintained, books of accounts audited. Revenue expenditure 3.5 lakhs, expenditure wholly and exclusively connected with place of business 3 lakhs, amount paid fixed to head office 1 lakh, books of account maintained, books of accounts audited. What is the tax liability for X and Co and Y and Co? एक वर्ड भी समझ में नहीं आया सर, मैं आपको एक एक वर्ड समझाता हूँ. यहाँ सुनो, इट्स नॉट दैट सिंपल सर. सुनो, there are two firms called X and Co. It's a partnership firm, it's a non-resident firm. Y and Co. It's a partnership firm and non-resident. They received fees for technical services 20 lakhs and 20 lakhs. Okay, please understand this. Okay, okay. X and Co do not have PE in India. Y and Co have PE in India. If X and Co do not have P in India, we will go to section 115A to find out the tax rate. If Y and Co have a P in India, we go to section 44DA to find out the tax rate on FTS. The tax rate is 10%, tax rate is 40% if it is a company. But here it's a partnership firm, it is 30% for firm. 40% for company, 30% for firm. Less expenses. Here not allowed. Here it is allowed. How much allowed? I'll tell you. You incurred here 2 lakhs expenses. That will not be allowed. So your net income will be 20 lakhs. Without expenses, your tax rate is 10%, and after claiming expenses, your tax rate is 40% or 30% depending upon the type of SEC. Allowed. Now, how much is allowed? Be careful. For 44 DMA, I covered this properly also. Out of 3.5 lakhs, 3 lakhs is exclusively incurred. This is allowed. Balance 50,000 will not be allowed. Out of 3.5 lakhs, 3 lakhs is exclusively connected with the profession, with that income. 50,000 is not connected with the income, so we will not allow 3.5, we will allow only 3 lakhs. This 1 lakh also will not be allowed. You can check 44 DA notes of our, if you have attended my sessions, you will find this. 2 expenses will not be allowed, expenses not wholly or exclusively connected with the profession and paid to head office. Paid to head office. So only 3 lakhs will be allowed. Out of 3.5, 3 is exclusively connected, both the 50s are not exclusively connected, that's not allowed. This 1 lakh is also not allowed. So how much will be allowed is only 3 lakhs. Net income is 17 lakhs. Tax rate is 10%, but if you add surcharge will not apply because it's not crores and all. So only cess will add. 10 plus 4% gives you 10.4 and 30 plus 4% gives you 31.2%. 31.2. Surcharge kekuna lag raha because it's not exceeding 1 crore. So what is the tax now? Tax 10.4% on 20 lakhs. 2,08,000. And 17 lakhs pay 31.2%. 17 lakhs pay 31.2%. 5,30,400. That is what he's asking in the MCQ. So the answer is 2,08,000, 5,30,000. That is option C. प्लीज नोट डाउन इफ यू वांट. ऐसा डिटेल में कोई एक्सप्लेन नहीं करता सर आपको. हेलो चेक चेक. या चेक चेक. ठीक है. So if you do not have P in India, your tax rate is covered under 115A. If you have P in India, your tax rate is covered under 44DA. Tax rate is 10% and 40% for company, and if it's a partnership firm, it's 30%. Chalo, listen now. Let's continue the MCQs. The 7th MCQ now, sir, please be careful. This is on section 94B. That is one section we have called 30% of EBITDA or interest, whichever is lower. Uspe this is based. 7th MCQ. Be careful. Yeah. A Limited, an Indian company, borrowed money from B in country B, C Limited in country C, D Inc in country D, E Limited in country. Details are given below. Amount borrowed, we are A Limited, we are the Indian company. We are paying interest to 4 companies called B, C, D and E. Amount borrowed is given. Take the total of interest first. 1.5 plus 2.5 gives you 4. Sorry, 1.5 plus 2.5. 1.5 plus 2.5 gives you 4. 4 plus 4 gives you 8 crores. Total is 8 crores. And out of which only 2 are associated enterprises, that is this one and this one. If you remember, section 94B says 30% of EBITDA or interest paid to associated enterprises, whichever is lower, is allowed. Whichever is lower is allowed. Okay, the difference will be disallowed. Total is 8 crores. B Inc. has provided guarantee of A to by A Limited. D Inc. has deposited 15 crores with him. That is nonsense. EBITDA is given as 10 crores. So it will be 30% of 10 crores or allowed. Interest paid to associate. Out of 4 parties, only 2 are associate enterprises, that is B and D. Uska interest is 1.5 plus 2.5. 1.5 plus 2.5, whichever is lower, which is equal to 3 crores. 30% of 10 crores or interest paid to associate enterprises. Out of 4 parties, only 2 are related parties, 1.5, 2.5. 3 crores will be allowed. You debited 8 crores to P&L account, but as per the provision, 3 crore will be allowed. How much will be disallowed? 5 crore. 8 minus 3. What is the question? What is the interest to be disallowed? Not allowed, disallowed. Allowed is 3 out of 8. Disallowed will be 5. 8 minus 3. That is option D. That is option D for Delhi. He is not asking what is the interest allowed, sir. That question is asking how much the interest is disallowed. So what is what total interest minus allowed will give you disallowed. But if you remember, this disallowed interest can be carried forward as a loss and will be set off in future days with the same concept that of MAT credit and AMT credit. That also we covered. For next 8 years, this can be carried forward. Okay. So next. This was question number 7. Question number 8. M Limited and N Limited are Indian companies which have to pay interest of 2 lakhs and 1 lakhs outside India to Mr. P, a non-resident, during 1920 on rupee denominated bonds issued in January and April 19. Which of the following statements are correct regarding the liability of M Limited and M Limited to deduct tax at source on the interest payable to P? This concept also I covered. You can find in my amendment lectures one concept on rupee denominated bonds. पहले मेरे को समझाने दो, then we'll discuss the question. Rupee denominated bonds issue by कौन issue करा? M Limited, N Limited. When they issued? January 19, April 19. 2 companies issued rupee denominated bonds, one in Jan 19, one is April 19, and they have to pay interest. M Limited has to pay interest of rupees 2 lakhs and N Limited has to pay interest of 1 lakh. They issued bonds, they have to pay interest to Mr. P. Okay. To pay interest to Mr. B. One concept we covered in rupee denominated bonds in my amendment lecture. If the bonds are issued between 17/9/2018 to 31st March 2019, issued between, interest is exempt. When interest is exempt, there is no question of TDS also. If any company is issuing bonds between 17/9/2018 to 31st March, that interest amount received by the recipient is exempt and TDS also will not apply. Who is paying interest? M Limited, N Limited. So they become the deductor. To whom are they paying interest? To an investor called Mr. P, who is a non-resident. But out of this, Mr. M Limited issued between 17/9/2018 to 31st March 2019. Yes, this one. So M Limited, for you there will be no TDS concept. You need not deduct any TDS. For you there is no TDS concept. You need not deduct TDS. But N Limited, You have to deduct TDS at the rate of 5% plus cess of 4% gives you 5.2%. Gives you 5.2%. So when N Limited is paying interest to Mr. P, M for monkey is paying to Mr. P, M Limited will not deduct TDS. N Limited is paying interest to Mr. P, N Limited will deduct TDS under 194 LB, LC, LD under rupee denominated bonds at the rate of 5.2%. This TDS section is under 194 LB slash LC slash LD. M Limited no TDS, N Limited 5.2% TDS is the answer. Should be the answer. So what is the answer now? What is the answer now? M Limited does not have to deduct TDS at source, but N Limited has to deduct at 5.2%. Answer is option C. Answer is option C. Uska analysis is given here. ठीक है, ठीक है, चलो नेक्स्ट. Next case MCQ number 9 for November 2020 RTP. Listen now. Under which of the following cases will arm's length be determined considering the median? Median of data set both we are talking about range rule. If you remember, we calculate 35 percentile, 65 percentile. If you fall within the 35-65%, no problem. Less than that, median will be the ALP. More than that, this chapter also will not apply. These are the methods: CUP, controllable uncomparable price method, resale price method, transaction net margin method, cost plus method. This rule will apply if there are more than 5 transactions. If I remember, this is equal to 5, this rule will not apply. Does the price at which the transaction is undertaken fall within the arm's length price? Is it falling within the range? Yes, yes. But the transfer pricing provisions will not apply if it is within the range. This is no. So transfer pricing provisions will apply only under this point. Will arm's length determine considering the median? Yes, under cost plus. That is only case 4. Sorry, that is option C. Because your range, your value is not within the range, then median will be taken as your answer. Here your value is within the range, no problem. If the value is not within the range, then median, that is here. That is for cost plus, that is case 4, that is option C. To know this, you have to know the concept of range rule, then this concept becomes easy. Case law number 10, case law number MCQ number 10. This is on section 194N. TDS of 2% if the cash withdrawal is more than 1 crore per bank. If you remember, 2% in excess of 1 crore if the cash withdrawal is more than 1 crore per bank, and he gave a dates and all the banks also. I want you to go through that, so be careful. I have account in Bank of India, First Bank, Standard Chartered Bank. Number 2, Bank of India. Okay, Standard Chartered Bank. Cooperative Bank 3, RBI, SBI Bank 4. So I have accounts in 4 banks. I have accounts in 4 banks and the amount withdrawn is given. We have to find out in which cases TDS will apply, so please be careful. Keep the RTP in front of you, please. For number 10. Listen now. Please listen now. बैंक का नाम, cash withdrawal, because the limit will be checked per bank. First bank is given Bank of India, BOI, Bank of India, and the amounts cash withdrawn is given as 70 lakhs and 50 lakhs. You can check it, please. It is 120 lakhs. Next bank is given is Standard Chartered Bank, and the cash withdrawal is 45 lakhs plus 15 lakhs plus 15 lakhs plus 15 lakhs plus 15 lakhs, total 105 lakhs. Next, SBI 10 lakhs plus 75 lakhs plus 15 lakhs, 100. And the next is Repco Bank, Cooperative Bank, 60 lakhs plus 10 lakhs plus 20 lakhs plus 15 lakhs, 105. Please, these are given in the problem, these are not my assumptions. Now, first of all, we are talking about section 194N. It should exceed 1 crore, then only TDS will apply. In the given case, this is not exceeding 1 crore. For SBI, TDS will not apply, SBI need not deduct TDS. First point. Number 2, this section was effective from 1/9/2019. Also, if you withdraw cash before that, TDS will not apply. See the dates of Banks of India. Date of Bank of India is 1/6/19, and for 50 lakhs, it is 1/8/19. So both the amounts are withdrawn before 1/9, before this section only. Bank of India also no TDS. This is more than 1 crore, yes. This is more than 1 crore, yes. So SCB and Repco will deduct TDS at the rate of 2%. Why Bank of India is not coming? Because you have withdrawn the cash from Bank of India before 1/9/2019. After that, assuming there was one amount after 1/9 also, then TDS would have applied on the entire amount. But you have withdrawn the entire cash before 1/9 2 times, but before 1/9 TDS will not apply. So who should get TDS? The bank, SCB and Repco will deduct TDS. It's a depth knowledge not to get 1 mark. So what's the answer, sir? Who should get TDS? SCB and Repco. So 4 options. Option D is correct. Option D is correct. SCB and Repco will deduct the TDS. Check it out. 1 minute if you want to copy or note down something. ठीक है, चलो नेक्स्ट. MCQ number 11. Which of the following orders are not appealable before commissioner appeals? बोलतो in which of the cases I cannot go to CIT appeals? Order of penalty you can go. Order for agent you can go. Order of assessment passed by you in person of DRP. Here you can go to directly ITAT. Those who ever have attended my classes, please go to DRP concept under assessment chapter under section 144C. One of the last points you will find remedy available to SSC. Directly go to ITAT within 60 days. But question is which of the following are not appealable? This is not appealable to ICT. You can go to ITAT. So answer is option C. I need not check the fourth bit also. Once you get the answer in the first two options only, don't check it. Check it if you want, but be sure, be confident. That's more important. Which of the following statements are correct in relation to the powers of Income Tax Authority to collect information which may be useful for the purpose of Income Tax Act 1961? The Income Tax Authority can enter the place of business of the SEC only after sunrise and before sunset. No. If I am running a nightclub, my timings are 8 p.m. to 3 a.m. He can come at 8 p.m. also during my working business hours. It should not only, if the question was not of the SEC after sunrise, I would have correct, but he says only. This is an incorrect statement. This is an incorrect statement. The Income Tax Authority may enter the place of business only during the hours at which the such place is open for. This is correct. Because my shop, a club is open from 8 p.m. to 3 a.m. They cannot come before 8 p.m. They cannot come after 3 a.m. They have to come during my business hours only. Okay, that's correct. Next. The Income Tax Authority may impound and retain in his custody for a period not exceeding 15 days books of accounts, other documents inspected by him. If he wishes to obtain a period within period 30 days, he has to take prior approval of. This is 30 days. Given 15 days. This is also incorrect. And the fourth one, the Income Tax Authority can no account remove or cause to be removed from building or place he has entered any books of accounts or other documents. Yes, this is correct. This is for survey we are talking about. For search may they have the power to seize, but survey may they do not have the power to seize. So which statements are correct? Second is correct and fourth one is correct. Answer is option D is correct. He is asking which one is correct out of this. Answer is D for Delhi is correct. Second one is correct, that is he can come to you only during business hours, that is for survey, and survey may can no account remove, he cannot seize the documents, that's not possible. This completes the MCQ questions for November 2020 RTP. This is your lecture 1. I'll upload one more lecture wherein we'll be discussing the descriptive questions of November 2020 RTP. I have completed the MCQ based questions of November 2020 RTP. The next video, which I'm uploading in a day or two, will be discussing on descriptive questions on November 2020 RTP. Have a nice day. Thank you so much. Keep safe. Any doubts, any issues, anything, you can, do not be hesitant to message me or call me. Thank you. All the very best for your examination. Keep smiling and stay safe.